Classy, I know. Classy, I know. Oop, I can hear myself. Ah, there we go. Wonder something. Oh, I just figured out something. Gosh, I'm not smart. One second, y'all. See if I can make this work. I can finally read. Let's see something here. Okay, good. Have I started the tally quilt? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, got it. Hello. Okay. Oh, wait. I gotta get into costume. 1 second, please. Fluff up the hair. Okay. Hey, everyone. How's everyone doing? It's Barbie weekend. No, I haven't seen it yet, but I have this big thing with Barbie. So I'll tell y'all all about that. So I'm super excited. I'm gonna go next weekend. But hey, hope you're wearing your pink, or you've at least worn it once this weekend, because super excited for the Barbie release. Can't wait. I love Margot Robbie. Who doesn't love Ryan, whatever, Gosling? He is amazing. Oh, yep. I was going to talk about my Barbies. I have collected Barbies for years. I haven't gotten any in a couple years. Just because when we were moving and all that, some of my very expensive Barbies got really damaged and I had to get rid of them. And when I say collecting, of course, I don't have a Bob Mackie. One day I will have a Bob Mackie Barbie. But I have collected, like in the box, they're special editions and stuff like that. I was a huge Barbie kid, had tons of them. I had the dream house, I had this, I had that, I had the fun stuff. And my mom still has her original Barbie, which is reminiscent of this little girl over here. And so it's kind of a thing with me. I've gotten Barbie gifts my whole life. I love the Barbie ornaments from Hallmark for my Christmas tree. I've got a ton of them. So it's kind of right up my alley. She's pink, and I don't care what anybody says about Barbie and her not being realistic for little girls. The coolest thing about Barbie to me was she did really show everyone thinks it's silly that girls could do whatever they wanted to do. So I've just always loved Barbie. So yeah, I brought out a couple of mine to kind of show you guys, because of course you care, right? But this was I don't remember what year this was, but this was the remake of original Barbie. So I had to have her because this is the one my mom still has, and she still looks great. My grandmother, and I don't know how she did this, but my mom's mom would make all the Barbie clothes for her, and I'm talking about teeny tiny little things, and they're stunning. They're not just they don't look like potato sacks. They're like fitted and everything. I mean, like if it was this bathing suit, that lady could make this bathing suit. It was crazy. So of course, here's Barbie Millicent. Hello, honey. So she's even got her earrings and all that. I get really excited about my Barbies. These two that I'm showing you actually stay up in my sewing room. So they're on a shelf over there. So I always have my Barbies close. I know it's silly, but my other favorite one is she's realistic. She can be anyone. Love that, William. Yes, she is. And by the way, I don't like the Barbie song. Sorry. Okay. So the other one that I have a couple different versions of is a Scarlett O'Hara Barbie. They came out with the Scarlett O'Hara collection probably back in the 90s. And so I got 2 or 3 of them. I can't remember. but Gone with the Wind is one of my favorite movies. So this is the infamous, well, wait till you see this, the infamous red dress Barbie, Scarlett O'Hara Barbie. So this is one of my all-time favorites. I love her so much. The dress. I wish she had more of a smoldering look, the whole eyebrow, you know what I'm talking about. But they did as good as they can with her. Her eyebrow's a little bit lifted. But she's absolutely stunning. So velvet dress, all the wrap, everything. So kind of fun, isn't it? So this is my homage to the Barbie weekend. And the glasses, I have to say, I did not know I was getting these. And I have to thank all the girls at work. They threw me a little party on Friday, and I'll tell you why here in just a moment. And they got me a bunch of pink stuff, and we had a Barbie day. It was really kind of fun. We like to decorate our little office area. And one of the girls, Nikki, she decorated all in Barbie on the beach, like tons of Barbies and mermaids and stuff. It was so cute. So the reason why they threw me a little party, I'm gonna go ahead so I can see. Let me put my glasses back on. But I love these. These are so fun. I'm switching jobs. I am moving on from, whoa, that's better. I think I got dizzy. I am moving on from the place I was working at, the doctor's office I was working at, to move into go into an office with a neurologist. So with everything that's happened with Jason and all that, this is going to be a really interesting change for me, because the brain, most of you know, Jason has a form of brain cancer. So it's kind of interesting that I get to work around that and learn about that and hopefully apply it to our situation. It's really interesting, and I'm super excited, and it's a great opportunity. So I will dearly miss everyone I worked with over at the other doctor's office that I worked at. Had a wonderful doctor, had wonderful coworkers. So, but you move on, and nothing, no. If I like this, I have the Barbie, you can be anything, sewing machine with desk, and oh my God, I need that. I need the sewing machine Barbie, please. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna look for that. Yeah, Mickey, the little clothes are so cute. And so, so that's been happening. Last week we were out, the week before we were out just because I was probably just tired. Last week I was out because I actually found out this past week that I had an ear infection. I knew I was sick last weekend, but didn't know until I saw my doctor that I had an actual ear infection, and now I know why. So starting to feel better from that. Still really dizzy, but I get dizzy. You heard me earlier be like, oh, I'm dizzy. It's just part of having an ear infection, I guess. This is probably the second one I've ever had in my life, so I really don't know. So there's that. That's why we weren't here last week. But this week, I just wanted to do something simple and fun. And as sewers, we're always sitting in weird positions. Now, I want you to look at me straight on. Because I want you to notice that this side of my neck looks different than this side of my neck. And that's from the positions that I've held in my working life. So this one drops a little lower, where this one is up a little higher. And that's because I work this arm to death. It's my right arm. I was a hairdresser. I'm a sewer. I worked where I lifted things. I've done all kind of fun jobs, and so my muscles get really sore, especially in the shoulder. So for years, I have made little hot cold packs. How my sewing journey really started, before quilting and when I was teaching myself to sew and all that, is I made iPads. I call them iPads. They're like little eye things, and they look different than what you're thinking. And I filled them with flaxseed, lavender flower, and some lavender oil. And I sold them to yoga shops, or studios. And what they could do is with the lavender and all that, when they're in what's called savasana, when you're at the end of your practice, you just kind of relax. You put those on, the pressure hits the pressure points wherever they're supposed to, and the smell of lavender relaxes you. So I had a good little gig doing that. And that was when we were living in Sarasota. And they kind of look like the ones that I have right here, but I thought I had one in here. Maybe it's underneath here. I have them around. So it's just a really fun, easy project. And especially if you're a new sewer, this is something you can whip up quickly. But they're good for gifts, or it's good for if you do some shows, you want to sell them. I know everybody makes them, but why not make them too? Who cares? And of course, the one I made today, since it's Barbie weekend, is with my Barbie fabric. And yes, I have Barbie fabric. Of course, I have Barbie fabric. And so you can see the cute little fabric here. And I believe this one I've held on to for so long, but I believe that my sister bought me this fabric, and I don't know how old it is. It's probably a few years old. The one in the middle is not completely Barbie fabric, but it kind of looks like it, doesn't it? It's really cute. So it's just something super easy, rather than just using a plain piece of fabric, which you can do. You do you, that's fine. What I did was just took 3 2.5-inch strips and sewed them together. Earlier I did put up like a little fabric list, and it is 3 2.5-inch by 10.5-inch strips. Now, can I make that bigger? Yeah. Can I make it smaller? Yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's your project, baby. You go for it. But the ones that I used to make, let's say, were about like a little bit smaller than this width. And so as a sewer, I have to take time to wear my shoulder, which I have this bad shoulder. I can pop this in the microwave, lay it over my shoulder, let my muscle melt, is what I call it, and leave it on and still sew or do whatever. Great for menstrual pain, great for headaches. But I also like to take them and put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. Now, what I had on hand this time was rice. And so you can use a mixture of rice and lavender, or you can use flaxseed. Now, flaxseed, it takes a lot of flaxseed if you're going to do big ones. And lavender, or whatever flavor essential oils you like. And I think I misspoke. It's not just 3 strips, it's 6 strips total. The one thing you do want to make sure of, if you're going to put this in the microwave, is to use cotton fabric. Try not to have the cotton fabric that has the metallic on it. You are putting it in the microwave. The other thing that I learned really early on is not to use metallic thread. If you wanted it to be pretty, do little designs or something, don't do that. Can't put it in the microwave. And I wouldn't use, I don't know, I haven't tried polyester thread. That's why I put on the list, let's use cotton thread, because cotton, you're going to be safe with that going in the microwave. So it's just a quick and easy project. And I just thought it would be something fun and quick and easy to do. So let me see if there's any questions. Let's see. I'm just making sure there's no questions. I was talking. Williams, polyester doesn't work. So yeah, you just want to be, very careful about what you put in the microwave. Now, if you're going to use this just on, as a cold pack, fine, use whatever you want. But I honestly haven't put this one in the microwave yet. This is all rice. So I would say start at 30-second increments. Because I don't want something to blow up in your microwave and then you'll be like, well, Anna said. So we're going to start at 30-second increments until you get it warm enough, or put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer. I like to do overnight. Feels so good for a headache. So good. The pressure of whatever's in there, the weight on your head, around your eyes, the coolness, so good. So let me show you what I've got going on right now. Okay, so I have my strips. Now I've got some Tula Pink fabric here, and I'm going to sew these together. And I've got 3 of each, and you could do multiple colors. You could come back in and do little 2.5-inch squares, whatever you want to do, however you want to make it. I just thought this would be quick and easy. So I'll layer them however I want. So when I say that, I will sew them however I want together. So I've got 2 lighter colors, pink in the middle. On the back, I've got the 2 pink on the outside and the lighter color in the middle. Whatever you want to do. So basically, that's what you're going to do for the first 2 pieces, or the front and the back. You're going to sew those 3 strips together. Now, I've kind of skipped to that part and kind of went ahead and moved along. But I do want to give you some tips. So I've sewn together my 3 strips right here. I have placed the front and the back wrong sides together, but before you do that, I don't want to undo them. I got them nice but what you're going to do is once you get your 3 strips sewn together, take it over to your iron and open the seams flat and press them flat. Now, if you have a clapper, use the clapper on top to make those seams really nice and flat. And then what I like to do is take both ends on the short ends and press them a 1/4 inch towards the wrong side. So there's about a 1/4 inch on each of these pieces on each sides. Because first what we're going to do is we're going to stitch down the long sides. So here you go. We're going to stitch down the long sides. I'm using a 1/4 inch. You can use half, whatever you like. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to use a 1/4 inch. I am going to back stitch on both ends because this is not a quilt. And then I'll do the other long side the same. And then what I like to do is flip it inside out, give it a good press, and then we'll come back and finish up the bottom part. We'll fill it, and then I'll show you how to contain your rice or your seeds while you're trying to finish the last seam, because that was the most trouble I used to have on making my eye masks. So is making sure that the contents of the bag or the pad or whatever you want to call it didn't come spilling out into my sewing machine. So I have a little trick for that. It's nothing special. But let's see here. Now, what if you wanted to do some embroidery on this? Okay. Again, I would tell you to use a tear away and tear away as much of it as you can. Let's say you wanted to put someone's name on there, tear away as much as you can. And then use cotton fabric to embroider. I know that's something I don't do. I don't like to do it, but if they're going to put it in the microwave, you still can't use polyester thread. And embroidery is the majority of time done with polyester thread. So I would say maybe slow your machine down. I know there's people out there who do it. I think Jory uses cotton threads to embroider. Someone else does too. So go for it, but The other, no, I don't know how vinyl would work. I wouldn't do vinyl. I don't know. I don't know. But I would use cotton thread to do embroidery. Could you stuff the last in with cotton balls to control the filling? Sure. Yeah. I don't know how the cotton balls are going to act in the microwave, but I mean, if they're full, complete cotton, I don't see why not. Sure, sure. But I'll show you a little trick because you don't want to fill it all the way to here. And we'll talk about that in the middle. I mean, in the middle, in a little bit. Really, we're going to take it and we're only going to fill it to about right here. It's not quite 3/4, because what we want is we want it to drape. So I want it to be able to drape. And so when I shake this down, you can see that the filling, which is the rice, is only to right there. Because I'm not going to fill it all the way up here. Number one, because it'd be trying to get it under the machine. But number two, it would be really heavy. But I like my things to drape so I can sling it over my shoulder, make it lay nice across my head, my neck, whatever. Now, if you want to make one that drapes all the way around, just make it really long. So yeah, you're gonna fill it. It's like a little less than 3/4. I know that's technical, and I love y'all love it when I do that, but you can see here how much. So yeah, but you could totally, and that would give it a little bit of softness too. Okay. So what we're going to do is after you have sewn your 3 strips together and you've pressed them and you have folded and pressed to the wrong side, 1/4 inch on the short ends. And let me show you something I like to use when I do that. I should have grabbed that. See if I can grab it without yanking the computer off the stand. And I don't know, these are made by Clover. And I love these. These are like little pressing rulers, but they're like this weird felty material. And what you do is you fold the fabric over to where you want to press. That is not straight. I know. And you press it down, and then you can slip this off and you'll have a crease and you'll continue pressing. These are really great because it has the marks on it. So I can press that down to exactly 1/4 inch, exactly half an inch, whatever. I like this one. There's one that is a little rounded on one end. This one's nice because it's long. So these are Clover. I don't remember what they're called, but they're really great. You can get these at your local quilt shop. Okay. So we're going to switch around and I'm just going to sew 2 long seams and let's see what happens. Let's see here. There we go. Oh, that's bright. Now I've just got the lighting's terrible right now. That's like really bad, but that's okay. We'll live. I've just got my 1/4 inch foot on. I've got my thread. I'm just using a regular 80 needle and hot hammer, thank you. I could not remember. Yeah, this size is good. So again, I use 3, for basically total 6 2.5 by 10.5 inch strips and 3 for each side. And I'm just going to drop my foot and I'm going to just do a back stitch at the beginning. Now, again, if you sew 5/8 inch of a seam, or if you sew a 1/4 inch, that's fine. Whatever you want to sew. I'm just using my 1/4 inch foot because I'm a quilter and I have issues. I've just got to sew 1/4 inch on everything. Wait till I flip this fabric inside out. It's super cute because what I want to do is make a bunch of these. And at the hospital, we have craft shows and we can sell stuff. So this is some medical fabric, which is super cute. All right, so I'm just going to back stitch right here and cut my thread. There we go. Super easy. Done. Now I'm going to go do the next side. Same thing. Back stitch here. Didn't do a great back stitch, but that's okay. See if we can get that a little bit further in there. Okay. All right. Good enough. All right. And continue. And the reason why I didn't stitch everything in front of you is because it takes me a while to press because I'm so neurotic about my pressing that I want to use a clapper and I want to do this. I want to take my time when I press. Something about me and pressing. I am very crazy about my pressing. Okay, so I've got these two ends, the long ends sewn, and I'm now going to, what's my pen hold? Oh, it's over there. I'm gonna trim these little guys real quick. And I'm now just gonna flip it inside out. And I'll do that in front of you on the other screen. Okay, so I've got the two ends. Now I'm just gonna reach through and pull it inside out. And look how cute this fabric is once I get it. All right, so just some little medical fabric. How cute is that? Where are my two seams? There they are. Now, what you could do is you could press these two seams flat open too, and it helps the crease. But I'm not going to take my time to do that. But I am going to take a second and go press these two sides flat really quickly away from the camera. So talk amongst yourselves, and I'll be right back. Take that so don't yank. And of course, if you can hear me, I am using my awesome Olesio iron. Not doing the greatest job, but you know, it'll be fine. Okay. So I just did a little quick press on it. And so I hate when that happens where you can see that to the front. That's why I like to really press them open, the seams open. That keeps that from happening whenever you're doing something like this. Like on, let's say, a pillowcase or something like that. But we're going to jump over and, or actually we're going to jump back over here and I'm going to show you the next step. There we go. Okay, so the next thing is, could use these as hot pads for the table. Yeah, you could do anything. Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to change the foot here. And do I have to? No, I just have to be careful. Okay, because what I'm going to do is select a triple stitch. And let me show you on the Baby Locs what that looks like. Let's see here. Okay, so if you look at my number 7 right here, I'm going to change my stitch to a number 7 triple stitch. And a triple stitch is basically where it goes 1 stitch, back stitch, 1 stitch, and then moves on. So it's a nice, thick, heavy stitch. And what it's going to look like on your diagram is 3 little lines. And then the next section is going to have 3 little lines and then 3 little lines. But what you want to notice on your machine is if you're using a 1/4 inch foot, this is very important. I don't know if you can see where the needle position is, but it's all the way to the left. Now, let's look at my 1/4 inch foot. Can that needle go over to the left? No, because there's only a little single hole. And can you see that little dot right there? See that little dot? That's what happens when you don't put your needle in the center position, because this one automatically goes to the left position, I have to move the needle over. So I'm going to tap on it and I'm going to put my foot back on and come back over here. And I'm going to move my needle. Now, if you don't have the ability to move your needle, just use your normal, regular sewing foot, okay? If you can't move that needle over, otherwise you're going to have some trouble. So what I'm going to do now is just place these edges together on one end, just one end so far. Get these. And if you want, you can kind of pin them to hold them in place so they don't shift. I'll trim that in a bit. And I'm just going to do a triple stitch across the bottom here. Get this pretty, get you out of the way. All right. And I want to stay within that 1/4 inch range, because if I do it below the 1/4 inch range, what's going to happen is this can flip out and just not look pretty. So I'm going to do it probably about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. All right. So if you never done a triple stitch before, it's going to go forward, back, and then forward, and go on, and then move on. And I think I'm a little too close to the open hole, so I need to start open. Okay, you see how my fabric's not moving? That's because I've got a open stitch plate on rather than a single. So I'm going to help it along by taking a little stiletto, and I'm going to take it on the end away from the needle. I'm still doing it. That's embarrassing. Hold on, let me see what's happening. Ew, a big old knot. Let's trim that off. At least you can see what happens when. So what's happening is I didn't push my fabric beyond the opening of that hole, and it's getting caught in there. So let's start over. I'm going to go back a little bit further. I'm sitting at a weird angle, so it's kind of hard to see what's happening. What is happening? Let me go back here and grab it and give it a little tug as we start to sew. There we go. Yes, you can always use leader fabric. Yes, you can. But, you know, when you're on camera, you never think of those things. All right, we've got it. Now, when you're sewing, the rule I want you to remember, especially if you're a new sewer, is your hands stay in the front. They never stay in the back, or never go in the back. Also, remove needles as you come, or your pins as you come up on them. So what I mean is you never want to pull while you're sewing. So keep your hands in the front, not in the back. What can happen is when I pull this fabric, I'm pulling that needle backwards. And what can happen is you can punch a hole in your bobbin case, and that causes all kind of problems. You wouldn't think that little bitty hole would cause all kind of problems, but you're going to be going to your dealer and getting a whole new bobbin case. All right, I'm going to just lock it right here. Cut the thread. There we go. All right. See, and that gives it a nice little look. You know, it's super tight stitching. I just left it at its normal 2.5 stitch length, and it's super tight. That means it's going to hold up. Now let's head over to the filling station and let's fill it up. And then we're going to bring it right back over here to stitch it up. Okay. Oh, there we go. Nice and kind of upside down there. All right. So what I'm going to do now, let's make sure everybody can see this. Can you all see that? Good, perfect. So what I have is a bag of Mahatma rice, or whatever cheap rice you want. It's just, you know, we don't eat a lot of rice, and I have this whole bag. This has probably been here forever. And so I'm like, well, I can use this. I've just got me a little scoop. It's just out of my kitchen. And what I'm going to do is make sure that it stands up. Is again, I'm only going to fill it about a little less than 3/4 full. You could fill it all the way up, but you're gonna have a harder time stitching it closed. And those little guys will flip under. You can fill it less. You can fill it with however much you want. So this is the easiest part here. Actually, the whole project is super easy. So I'm just gonna dig. Got this weird hole in the front, so it makes it a little harder. If I had my little smaller ones that I made, I can't believe I don't have my sample in here. Well, it's not a sample, it's one I do. I'm looking around to see if I see it. Oh, it was in here. Anyways, I would use something smaller. Now for this, I've gotten to the point where I am really sensitive to smells. I would love to have lavender oil in here. But everything makes me sick lately, smell wise. And that just means that my sinuses are changing. I have terrible allergies. So I'm just going to use plain rice. Now the flax seed, if you use that, it has the smell. Oops, that might be too much. It's probably pretty good. I'll stick right there. So let me show you about where I'm at. So about right here. The flax seed, when you heat it up, smells like oatmeal. My husband hates the smell of oatmeal and he hates oatmeal. So he does not like that one. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these two edges and just put pins in them just to hold them real quick. And I'm going to show you my little trick. And again, it is nothing spectacular to kind of keeping the rice or whatever at bay. I'm going to go ahead and seal these, kind of get it nice and there we go. This is not the trick, but it just makes it easier to work with. There we go. All right. So if I'm looking at this, if I were to go sew this right now, I just laid it down and all the rice went to right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of hold it flush like this. I'm going to take a pin and I'm going to weave it through. It's really silly, but it works. And then I'm going to do it on this side. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of like creating a gate. We're going to call it a fence, a gate. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to do it right here. So when I go to sew, all that rice is not going to come back. So it's all stuck right there. So it just helps keep that rice at bay because you don't want to sew over it. And it's annoying if you're trying to keep it away from the opening. So silly, but works. All right, so let's head back over to our little sewing machine, depending on which one you're using. Today, I forgot to tell you what I'm using. I'm using my my Soprano, and y'all all know her because she's got her bee stickers on there. Okay, so here we go, and let me show you. So I just kind of wove those through, and now it's going to make my life so much easier. And let's do what William suggested. Let's do a little starter piece. You get a piece of fabric. Oh, do I want to use that? Yeah, I'll use this. So let's just do a little starter piece here. Okay, here we go. And now I'm just going to stick it under and do the exact same thing that I did to the other side. All right, so I've got it started. I went a little fast, sorry. And I'm going to remove my pins as I go along using that same stitch. Now I see something funny happening there. It'll be all right. I'll keep this for myself. Now, I don't know if you noticed where my hand is on the bag. Because this is kind of heavy, I may have to give it a teensy baby push as I'm going on. Because this weight, if I try to let it just drag on through, we might get a little awkward stitching. So I'm going to keep my hand on the bag and give it, you know, a baby bit of pressure to push through. not a lot. All right, I'm going to remove my next pen. Like the easiest, one of the easiest things I'll ever teach y'all to make. And again, these have been made 1,000 times before. But if you're new to sewing, or if you're looking for a great kids project for the summertime, this would be, oh, they would love to make these. Because, you know, these would be good gifts to give to mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, auntie, uncle, whoever. All right, coming up to the end, I'm just going to lock it into place. Cut that thread. And I'll take my leader off. Oh, I got it. There we go. Oh, red here. Let me see that. That's going to drive me crazy. All right, there we go. And then all I have to do is remove these pins. And now my rice can go wherever it wants. Now that feels a little heavier than the other one, but that's okay. Again, gosh, that one is heavy. I think I put a little bit extra in there. But summer sewing, you know, it's like I said, especially, but look how cute. Oh, I gotta clean that off. Hold on. But look how stinking cute and just quick. This would be really good to throw in a get well basket, you know, for a friend or something like that. But here's I love that fabric. Is that not adorable? And that blue fabric's so pretty. I think I got this fabric and the blue, and there's a red that I can't find, probably because y'all know I don't use red fabric very often. From Gloria Horn. I really believe I got this from Gloria Horn. So cute. Let's see, is there any questions? A beanbag for, yep. Oh, a beanbag for Barbie. You could put some channels on it. Some channels on it. Don't. I like the stitch, the top stitch on denim. Yeah. You know, in the very beginning, what I would use was I would use decorative stitches across here. So you could use one of your built-in decorative stitches just for a pretty look. You could do decorative stitches down the seams. You could have a lot of fun. You really could. I was thinking about, I am in a tulip, I think I've mentioned this like 1,400 times. I was in a Tula Pink flying geese swap, and the flying geese are about this big. And if I add some fabric here, and then fabric on the sides, that would be really pretty. So, you know, I could really have a lot of fun with these. But if I were to sell this size, I would sell this for like $15. And, you know, how much money do I have in this whole little piece right here? Probably less than $5. So you could really use these for selling items. But yeah, this one is definitely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could do that to make the rice more even. You could do that. You could sew down the. I guess you would have to sew that part first. So before filling it up. Yeah. So what you would do. Yes, you could do that. You could sew down here and then sew down here, then fill each section, and then you could do that. Absolutely. But now I am ready to relax. Yeah, you can see I got more rice in that one. But there you go. That was my quick and easy project for today. It's just using your machine, having fun with your machine, making simple little things. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be a whole quilt, right? It could be something fun. And I really do believe, since it's summertime, for kids, this would be a really cute, quick project. You can make little circular ones. Use the circle circular attachment and make like little hand warmer ones, you know, that, you know, they can give to mom and dad for when their hands are cold, or, you know, or something like that. Make little iPad ones. It's so weird when I say iPad now. But yeah, you can make all shapes, all sizes, ones that wrap around. just have fun. Think about it, design it, do it, have fun. A couple other things that I want to, okay. So I hope you make a bunch of these. If you do, post them on the Facebook page so I can see what y'all are doing. Okay, so that's what I've got to show you how to do today. How long would you heat in the microwave just to warm it up? So usually I'm going to tell you with these because I haven't really done this size in a long time. Start at 30 seconds, feel it, see if that's good for you. I like to do like 30 seconds, shake it up, get everything distributed, put it back in for 30 seconds, do the same thing until I like hot, like burn your skin off. So I would do 30-second increments just to see what works for you. Okay. Okay, so tally quilt. Let's talk about that. Well, since my whole life just got kind of weird, y'all been with me for years, so y'all know weird follows me. So since I got sick and new job and all that, I have to postpone beginning the tally quilt. Obviously, you notice I haven't said anything about it. So I'm thinking in September, because in August we have Baby Lock Tech, so I'm going to be going there and doing some samples and all that. So I don't have a lot of time. But I don't know if I showed y'all. I have the top done, and this was by using Flower Power by Marie McCormick. So I'm just going to show you a quick look of it. It came out really stinking cute. Yes, it's all wonky and not pressed. I need to quilt it or have it quilted. Get that ready. The fabric that I'm going to be using for the sew along. Now, this is a sew along that I'll be doing on Instagram, and it's the Tally quilt. Is going to be in September. Sorry, this was heavy. Let me show you the fabric that Riley Blake Fabrics generously donated to do the sew along. And one of the gifts is a fat quarter bundle of this fabric from Riley Blake. So we thank them so much, but it's so sweet. And I just want to show you guys, it's so sweet. First off, look at the honeycombs. How cute are those? So it has bees on it. So I'm loving that. It has some pretty flowers, bees. Y'all know we couldn't do it without bees, right? Thank you, Riley Blake. This fabric here. And here's some other little, fabrics that go along with it. Wait, there was more. Oh, they got it all folded up in. I was like, wait a second, there's more. There's a lot more, actually. So this has to be one of my favorite pieces. That mustard color is so pretty. And in person, it's way different. Cute little baby hexies. And let's see what else. Here it is. Okay. This is, let's see, blue. This is a really pretty hexie print. And then we have a little bit more here. The bees again. Oh my God, this is going to be the cutest quilt. And one more time, the bees again. And this fabric line is Honeycomb Hill by Catherine I don't want to say it wrong. Linus or Linus. It's Lenius. And it's absolutely just precious. And again, thank you to Riley Blake, who is donated the fabric for me to make the quilt along with you, but also a fat quarter bundle to one of the winners during the sew along. So it's going to be on Instagram. I will have a whole spiel about it soon. Sorry I had to postpone it, but again, new job, ear infection, weird stuff. And Baby Lock Tech coming up. which is always exciting. So this year is we get to head back to Baby Lock Tech, which is really fun. I've been several times in the years, never as a Baby Lock educator. So this is my first time as an educator going, and I am so excited. So let me see. Yeah, are these there? Can I ask why Instagram? Yes, you can. And the reason is I'm trying to grow my Instagram. I mean, that's honesty for you. Of course, that's why I'm doing it. But I have the ability to also help you guys meet a lot of other contributors when I'm doing this. So our sponsors are on Instagram, and this opens up for everyone to join in on it. I know that's weird for someone to say, I'm doing it for followers, but think about it. I want to share my knowledge with everybody. And we can do this in the group, but it probably wouldn't be till next year, or it'll be a different quilt. Did I say that out loud? I did. So I have 4 quilt patterns in process right now. And so, yes, I'm going to start making quilt patterns for sale, basically. And so this helps widen our range to get out there to show everybody what we do. Just Instagram's fun. And if you're not on Instagram, it's really easy. You don't have to post. You could have a private page or whatever. But if you are going to do the sew along, you do have to post pictures of your progress when we're doing it. If you've never seen a sew along on Instagram, all it is you post pictures of your progress and you use a tag, like a hashtag. So hashtag tally quilt. And then that way that gets you thrown into the drawing each week. And I have some really cool people that I have are very gracious that are going to be helping out with this. So that's why. I know it's a weird, you're not on Instagram, I'm sorry. Yeah, but maybe eventually we can do an in-group sew along, but it would probably be on a different pattern, which was going to be a pattern that I'm going to be making for purchase. So the tally quilt. The other thing is that what I'm thinking about doing, and I can link the videos over here, is for each part of the tally quilt making little videos that will be on YouTube, and then you can go out there and watch them. The only thing that if you're not on Instagram, would be able to do is to join in the weekly prize giveaway, because that's just on Instagram. So yeah. Yeah, it's really neat. It's really Instagram's just fun because you can follow people. It's different than Facebook. So there's a lot of little videos. There's a lot of great people to follow in the sewing world. In the cooking world, if you like cooking, whatever interests you have. And if you like gardening, cooking, whatever, I don't like either of those two, but I know they have a great, people on there, just like our sewing world. And that's how I've met a lot of people. It's really fun. And so my virtual friends, just like you guys. Okay, so let's see, is there anything else? I'm just looking around the room because I lay things in weird places. Yeah, so that's it so far. So next week we'll be back with another Facebook Live. And what I'm thinking about doing, because I don't feel like we completely finished the let me put this stuff down. Oh my gosh, all that's heavy with the rice bags and everything. I personally don't think we finished the flag from July the 4th. So what I'm thinking is showing you how to add some wording after the fact, or designs or whatever after the fact. So remember, this is what we, oh my God, I'm sorry, that's really cute. When I look at it every time, I'm like, I did that. So putting something on a pre-bought flag or pre-bought whatever, and let's say it already has a design on there, or you have a design on there and you're like, I really want to add something to that, but I have a Meridian, I have an Altair, how do I do that? I have a Solaris, how do I do that where everything's going to fit perfectly? So I was thinking about next week we would do that, and I think that would be kind of fun, because what if I wanted to put, like Happy 4th of July or America the Beautiful or something, dog bless America. Get it, dog bless, see the dog. Okay. So yeah, so I think we're gonna do that. And I think it'll be a great lesson. Some bee, yeah, that would be cute. Some flowers and bees, just something cute. Yeah, and that's just it. You could go to the dollar store and buy those little garden flags and like add your name to it, or add like little flowers, bees, bugs, whatever you want to it. So yeah, it'll be really cute. How's Jason? Jason's great. He's fishing right now. And 170 million degree weather, so he's fine. He's good. No, he's actually doing really good. His chemo stopped 3 months ago, 2 months ago. Can't remember. It was either 2 or 3 months ago. And so we're still going to keep on the 3-month MRI schedule. Just because they say we can do 6, but he wants to do 3. And if he wants to do 3 months, then we're going to do 3 months. So everything's looking good so far. No growth, no nothing. So right now, it gives me palpitations. Right now we're just kind of in the waiting stage. So, but otherwise he's doing good. Yeah, Jason's Jason. One day I'm gonna get him on here and y'all can fully meet him. But he is camera shy. But he's doing good. He started a new job that's really low key, and he's really liking that. So he's having a good time not being a manager. Let's just put it that way. And so he's doing great, and thanks for asking, because he's part of the crew even though he doesn't show up to the party. We're gonna get him in this party one day. Yeah, he knows how to embroider. I taught him how to. He made a patch for Lacey's collar one time. I was proud of him. He did good, and he hand stitched himself the quilt life right here. That was one of my gifts when I used to travel across the country. I can't remember if it was Valentine's Day or something, but he taught himself how to cross stitch. That was one of my gifts. So he did a great job. So, okay. Oh, Cindy, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that for her. Yeah, 3 months is the best way to do it. I mean, if you can, your insurance is cool with it. You got extra insurance, like we have extra, insurance for all that mess. So just do it. It's good for sanity. Let's put it that way. All right, you guys. Well, let's see, some OESD garden flags. I need to order some more of these. I really think I got these at All About Blanks, and I didn't know I'd like them that much. These are the ones that are like, I was like, these are burlap. Like this is going to be terrible. But if you have something nice and big to put on it, and I do worry about the wording, but I'll use some probably some heat away topper, not a wash away topper. Heat away topper's a little bit thicker. I mean, just thicker. But I'll probably use that for it. But I think it's really pretty. I think it came out really good. And I think it's because I really love the fabric. And but I think just, and that would be a good, if you embroider for people, if you embroider as a business, it's a good little side hustle to make some little flags, and all you have to do is put their name on it, and you can do $25, per flag. People love that, especially if you have like a font where you can do the split name. So it's a letter S and it's split in the middle, and you can put Smith in the middle. People love that. I do. I love that look. So, and I do know is it in, so there's one of those. So just poke and play around. See what you got. Did I starch it? Nope, not at all. So when I bought it, it is stiff. And again, I think it's all about blanks. There is actually something on the back. I don't know what it is, but it's something that holds it together so it won't fray, I guess. So it's like that, which is really nice because it holds its shape. All righty. Oh, let me get into costume. All right, so go see Barbie. Oh, wait. Make sure to go see Barbie when you can. If you don't want to see that, go see Oppenheimer. I'm actually reading the book right now. So American Prometheus. So that's the other one I want to see. But yeah, so thanks for joining us today. Barbie says thank you so much, girls and guys, for coming. And we hope that y'all have a great week. Thank you again for your support. I really appreciate you all. And we'll see you next week. I don't know if you will, but we'll see you next week. Say bye, Barbie. Bye, Barbie. All right. Wait. Okay. Here we go. All right. See, Barbie knows that I don't know how to sign off easily. So, all right, everyone. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.